Good evening. Detroit in black and white, our Friday edition. Good evening, Vanessa Moss, attorney Vanessa Moss.
Good evening. Good evening to all of our Detroit Black and White viewers. If you're watching, you know what we want you to do. Like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. Subscribing is free. It is free. So please subscribe to Detroit Black and White. And join us in the conversation later on if you want to be on YouTube, on these YouTube streets like us. Why don't you scan and join us?
Okay. Have we had anybody scan yet?
Not when I was on the show.
No. Okay.
Oh, it's right there at the top, guys.
Jim Nardone, how you doing?
Good
Former police
evening.
chief in Trenton.
Good evening. Hello, Duela, Mr. 1213, Jill Sheridan, Karen Winston, and everybody else that's out watching the show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank everybody that watches the show live and watches it later too. We appreciate you taking a peek.
Okay. Last week I saw something in Deadline Detroit. I'm sorry that Allan is not here. M.L. Elric, the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist and everybody famous favorite newspaper reporter. It depends on who you talk to.
Right.
Wrote an article in Deadline saying, Allan wrote the article, but he did on his podcast on why Mary Sheffield wedding was important, why they had to cover it, because she was being secretive, and they wanted to know if who she was marrying, did he have a contract and stuff. And I thought about when Duggan got married, he already gave his bride to be a hell of a wedding gift, 400 grand or so or more. And they didn't chase him down. And I say he had his wedding. I couldn't tell you where he had it at. But I know that Mary Sheffield was at the Godfrey Hotel, etc. And I say, was that fair game? Should the press kick the door in? At the previous mayor, they didn't do anything. This mayor to be, they was all over the place. I'll go with you, Vanessa.
Listen. It's a different standard, and we said that from the beginning. Whoever becomes the mayor of the city of Detroit, they are going to be treated differently than the current mayor. So is it fair game? Maybe not. Some will argue, look, she's the mayor of the city of Detroit. People want to know, especially in light of the fact of, there was a previous relationship that she was engaged in. This person, benefited in terms of getting a contract. And I mean, it's to be expected to a certain extent because she is the mayor. She did make history. She's the first woman mayor of the city of Detroit. So is it to be expected? Yes. Is it fair? No. Is life fair? No. I mean, is she complaining about it or not?
Yeah, well, I think they did complain about it. And you know how I feel about Mary Sheffield. I think she had a right to complain about it. I'm not, as a former journalist. It's news.
You're a public figure, so I mean,
yeah, it's news. But I know, and I'm gonna tell you this. When I was a newspaper reporter up in Kalamazoo, the day before I started the job at the paper up there, I went to a party. The people that worked at the paper where I was going to work invited me to a party. I went there. They was having a great time, all these folks. Yeah, they were smoking weed, doing all kind of stuff. No big deal. I've seen all that at school. The next day, I went to my first assignment, which was to cover the district court up there. And when I went in the courtroom, I looked up at the bench and see the judge, and he was one of the people out there getting high. He was smoking weed and stuff, and he saw me because I was the only person of color in that party. and he did a quick recess and called me up and said, "You work for the paper?" Yeah, I work for the paper. I said, "Well, I just left, I covered it, went back to the paper, talked to the city editor. They said you can't write about it, because I wanted to write a story. They said it's no news." I said, "But people go before him that get caught with drugs and stuff. But he had a reputation of being lenient on folks with caught with marijuana and stuff." I said, "Yeah, because he's smoking most of it himself." But what should I been able to write a story? I look back at that and said, next time I won't say anything. I'll decide on my own. Because when you ask people to permission, sometimes you don't want to do it, and they say go ahead and do it, and sometimes they don't. So here we are chasing down Mary's husband to see if he done got some contracts already. They trying to paint him as one of the vendors of the city. I don't think that's fair. Jim.
Well, I have a little different take. G Money Hollywood, greetings to you. We're talking back to you. We're doing well. Hope you're doing well too, Mr. 1213. Maybe we'd have more participants if they just call in. Look, Mr. 1213, I have to look at my face, and it ain't pretty. So you guys should have a little courage and let us see your faces. Dahomey and Choctaw, hello to you. Good evening, Janet Overall. Here's my take. Karen Winston, if I missed you, Karen, I hate to miss Karen. When you run for office and take a position like that, whether it's whoever it is, you become, you belong to the public. So I think it's exciting. I think she's a celebrity. I think she embraces her celebrity image. I'm not suggesting that it's a bad thing or a good thing. I think she's a celebrity. Mike Duggan was not so much a celebrity. I think she's going to be more of a celebrity than any of the other mayors in the last, I don't know, however 20 years. More of a celebrity than Dave Bing or any of those people, even though Dave Bing was a professional athlete. I just think she's a celebrity. She's young. She's attractive. She's out there, and people didn't know much about her personal life. And I think they want to know about her personal life. And, she signed on for the bargain. So I get your point about Mike Duggan, but Mike Duggan isn't all that interesting.
Well, but the bottom line is, it's interesting when they Emma Eric says we did this to find out if her husband is going to be have a contract or et cetera. We already knew that Duggan's wife received a benefit of some money, and it was like a one day. It was like a 1 day story.
I think it's exciting. Don't you think it's exciting? Don't you think Mary Sheffield's exciting for the city of Detroit? I'm not telling you. I'm not talking about her politics. I just think she's infusing some kind of new spirit into the city, and people are really interested in who she is.
Okay, well, I disagree, but I understand.
Yeah. So, Jim, that is my position. She's a public figure. She's made history. People want to know. Now, I think the real question is the motivation because she's a celebrity, she's a mayor, or is the motivation we want to find some skullduggery on her and air it out to the public?
I think it's both.
I think that's where.
Yes.
I mean, that's a great question, but that's kind of a jaded view of it all, right? In a way.
Yeah. But I think that's where Adolph was going with this.
Sure.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's where he was going with this. And I'm going to say the same reporter who talked about the mayor-elects getting married, he did a story when Mayor Duggan got married. Now, whether or not this remains in the cycle for the news cycle for a long period of time or not, we shall see. But I thought that first of all, I don't know. In the city of Detroit, nothing is really a secret, okay? We knew there was quite a few of us knew that the wedding was going down, that it was going down this weekend. I saw the photographs. Beautiful, beautiful bride. Looks happy. You know,
I
I'm
don't
glad
care
you
about the fucking
don't try
wedding.
to say this. What kind of scrutiny is she going to be under as her husband is going to be under as a result of him as a result of their marriage? I wonder how much
I don't know because Granholm husband, Dan Mulhern, he was a real asshole, and they never reported it. And he got paid doing stuff. He was a lobbyist for the city of Windsor. We were talking about dealing with that now the Gordie Howe Bridge when they was fighting Maddie Maroon, where she backstabbed Maddie Maroon. The real deal on that bridge was everybody was on the same page. Maddie Maroon did not want to really stop the bridge. He just wanted to manage the bridge, and he had a deal with them, and they stabbed him in the back. But her husband profited from that. Nobody wrote about that.
So my point is, he profited from that, and nobody wrote about that, and she made to
I
be the
don't think they need to mess with get this
But
guy.
they are.
Let this guy do his honeymoon. Let this guy do his honeymoon. Now, if it come down the pipe that he's getting a $10 million contract, or $20 million, like her former boyfriend, and she voted for it, then you got a problem. Then then we got a problem with the mayor. But right now, hey, she got married. Congratulations. My only concern was why didn't she get married at her father's church?
Why does that?
Oh, you funny and you petty.
Why is
You
that?
funny and petty.
Yeah, I am.
Thank you, G Money Hollywood. She has infused a new spark in Detroiters. Let's move. Tamika's ready to move on. I think we all should be ready to move on. We have a lot of work to do. It's definitely both, Vanessa, according to your, your point that you made. And Karen Winston says she needs to thicken up her skin. She's going to be a big deal. Duggan's just nobody cares about Mike Duggan. That's why.
Said,
Jim, the people were saying we need Duggan. Duggan was the greatest mayor in the history of the city, according to some of these assholes out there.
We'll see. We'll see where Duggan shows. We'll see how Duggan plays in Grand Rapids and Gaylord.
No, he's gonna get his ass kicked.
Guys, did you see this comment? I just said there's no secrets in the city of Detroit. It's supposed to be. One of our viewers says, I don't know where they got this from. Say, isn't the husband the best friend of the guy who stole the 41 mil? I don't know. Has anybody heard that?
That's been reported, but
I heard it, but I've never seen them together. She
said she hopes so. She hopes that he's her cousin.
And good Friday to you. But here we go back to what we talked about on the show, the last show, Adolph, where some people are under the position that Cheryl Hines, who is married, who I had no idea who she was, is married to Ted Kennedy Jr. They want,
not Ted Kennedy, Bobby. Don't do that on Ted Jr.
You're right,
Bobby. He the insane motherfucker.
The actress.
Yeah. So some people say she should be punished because she's married. Now, on the other hand, why should this? Oh yeah. There's people on that came and said she's
being froze out of Hollywood.
What do you mean punished? I don't.
Well, she's being punished by her former friends in Tinseltown because they don't like Bobby Kennedy, and they say she condoned all the shit that he's doing, those crazy ass conspiracies with the vaccines and all the other shit. So she's saying that her book that just came out got trashed because of who she's married to. And I asked the question last week, well, is that fair? That was it fair that Carolyn Kilpatrick lost her,
Okay, you took it
her
right out my
congressional seat.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
No,
I
it
mean,
wasn't fair, but she
people,
did.
This young man married Mary Sheffield. He married Mary Sheffield. He didn't marry the mayor. He didn't marry. He
Oh, yes,
married.
he married the mayor,
he
Jim.
married it
Yes, he
all,
did.
Jim. He married it all.
But it's
Just
not.
like,
He can't be held account. He's not responsible for what she does or what his
listen,
friends do or anybody else
listen.
does. He's only responsible for what he
I'm
does.
sorry. People are peopling all the time, as we say. And so people are going to judge and people are going to punish you. If you're associated with a certain individual that people do not like, and I'm saying the majority don't like, it's going to happen. Is it right? No. But is it inevitable? Absolutely. Yes. And so she she wrote a book. I don't know what the book is about. I wouldn't buy it no way. I mean, I'm not interested in what she has to say, nor am I interested in what he has to say. But that is to be expected. So why are you crying? And you living in the land of fruits and nuts. What she expect? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
The point was it's okay to shut her out because who she's married to, and I disagree with that.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that it's inevitable. It's
reality.
Going to happen. It's been going. It goes on and on and on and on.
Prime example. Last week, Sharon Moore was the toast of Ann Arbor.
Yes, he was.
Today,
Right.
those same people that said good things about him, oh, they you think that he assassinated somebody, and they kicking his ass. So that's the way that's the way the game is played. Let's take a break and we come back and continue our conversation. Detroit in black and white, our Friday edition.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Okay, we're welcome back. Let's Vanessa, do you want to have the last say of this?
Yeah, you're talking about the coach that now they're dogging out. And let me say this: stalking is a very serious. It's a very serious charge. It appears as if they said that he threatened to.
No, I'm not. Listen, that's news. That's news.
He was the toast of the town, like you said last week.
Yeah.
When I read the story, I thought about, who did I think about? I thought about the golf guy, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was the greatest, the latest, the greatest. He was awesome. As soon as they found out he was cheating with Susie, Jane, Brenda,
let me see that swing again.
Yes, he became the scum of the earth. The scum of the earth. So listen, people, as I say, people are peopling. People are going to judge. People are going to criticize. But I will say this, as it relates to the young man, the coach, did he make some bad decisions? Yes. Have we all? Yes, we have. Is this the end of his life? No. He could come back. Now, will he be at the same level that he was? No, not at all.
I don't know why. I don't know why not.
This is not.
Well, others have done worse than him, right, and then came back and did whatever. But that's we'll see how it plays out. The bottom line is that we're not gonna hear the last of what Mary Sheffield does. And I do agree with you, Jim. She is a celebrity, and they're gonna write about every step she take. It's okay. Mary Sheffield, she's hanging out with whatever rapper
Come
or
on.
whatever
Big Sean,
entertainer.
international
Right?
celebrity.
Big Sean about 2 feet tall, ain't he? I never heard of. But anyway, so that's that. But we segue into the former mayor, one of the former mayors of Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick, went to court asking Nancy Edmonds to get rid of his $1 million debt, 800,000, what he owed. She gave him 28 years. Do he seriously think that she's gonna say, okay, you don't have to owe anything? And Trump did not pardon him. He just let him out of jail. Trump know what he was doing. He did so much, and yeah. Jim, is that if you was his attorney, what would you tell him? Is he crazy for asking that, or that's just Kwame?
That's just Kwame. The thing I would have asked him to do is to try and make some effort to pay some of it off. And while you're doing that, show some contrition and try maybe and get some of the amount taken away. Now, this isn't a plea bargain, so people need to understand that this was ordered by the court in a guilty verdict. This was not an agreement that they decided he owed $1 million. I guess the judge decided he owed $1 million. I think he could have paid some of the money back. He's out of prison. I think he could have made some effort and then maybe walked into court and say, look, I paid off this. There's no evidence that I took money from the residents of Detroit. And maybe you can, give me a break here. It never hurts asking, right? You go in and buy a car.
That's what I was going to say, plain and simple. Listen, the process is what it is. There's nothing wrong with asking. The worst they can say is what? No. They say no, you move on. As an attorney, as a defense attorney, if a client comes, if he was my client, he comes and says, hey, I want to do this. Guess what? If you think that they may have a scintilla of a chance of prevailing on a request like that, why not?
But isn't it an arbitrary number as an attorney, Vanessa, Adolph? Isn't it an arbitrary number to decide how much money he owed the city, the residents of Detroit?
I don't think it was an arbitrary number. I think it was a number that they came up with after looking at everything. I don't think they just throw out numbers. As a matter of fact, I know they don't. Now, can you challenge those numbers during the process, especially during the sentencing phase? Absolutely, you can challenge it. But at the end of the, how long ago was this?
Over 8 years ago.
Over 8 years
10
ago.
years.
More than that.
About 10 years ago.
More than that.
Look.
But he was in prison, so
yeah,
it's hard to pay off that.
I know some people are offended that he had the nerve to ask. I personally am not. Look, the worst they can say is no, is what I tell people. It doesn't hurt by asking. And nobody should be surprised because he is who he is. Somebody put in a comment and he wants people to believe that he's a preacher. Well, he says he is. He seems to be the toast of the town. I saw the other day where he was, I'm going to say for lack of a better word right now, but he co-hosted or moderated some kind of program, and people were clapping like seals and, very receptive of him. So, I personally didn't have a problem with it. And judges see stuff like that all the time, requests that they, people may think it's ridiculous, but they say, well, maybe I have a chance. Maybe they'll give me something.
Well, you have a chance in front of a judge who gave you 28 years, who basically hates your guts. And she was so pissed when Trump let him out. When Trump let him out, she let Bobby Ferguson out, and he didn't even ask to get out. She said she couldn't sleep at night as she left Bobby Ferguson there and Kwame running around doing what he's doing right now, you know.
But as Stephanie points out, these bills don't. I think she's trying to say these bills don't get paid. Well, isn't there like a school board member in Highland Park or something that's got to pay like $650 a month for the next 320?
Robert Davis.
I can't remember his name. Whatever.
Yeah, that's Robert Davis.
Is this bill like $6 a month for 380 years or whatever the heck it is? You know, those bills are not going to get paid.
But you know what? I don't blame the people that owe the money if they don't pay. I blame if the city or the state or the federal government don't pick go after it. Why should they pay if you're gonna let them just walk?
Thank you, Stephanie, for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Just like there wasn't a party at the mansion. Well,
yeah.
I was here a party long ago. It's a magic trip.
What party? What party?
Right. There wasn't a party.
So Mr. 1213 says, I think that Moore got deep into trouble when he allegedly went over to his mistress's house threatening. I can't believe it. Looks like he had 2 domestics in the same day. Now that's like Jalen Hurts throwing an interception and fumbling on the exact same play. I don't know how that's pretty impressive to be able to get involved in 2 domestics in the same day. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. Apparently he had a fight with his wife and then he decided to push it and had a fight with his girlfriend the same day. That's an impressive feat right there, if you ask me.
Well, you know, I think that he was in a panic and he looking at what he just whatever. Now the reports is that the woman says that she broke it off on Monday, but then the other reports say he stalked her for months. What's the real deal?
Thank you, Miss Sheila.
You said
no,
what?
Don't negotiate the truth.
You asked her what's the real deal?
Yeah.
It might have been both.
Yeah, well, maybe so. But
it can be both. I mean,
should she be able to go back to her job?
Absolutely not. She should not be rewarded. Isn't this the lady who was making 50 grand? I mean, yeah, 50 grand a year and it jumped to 90 grand.
Yeah.
But here's what.
And what was Vanessa, she getting paid to do? What was
Vanessa,
she was his assistant?
Sleep with him.
Vanessa, please tell us what happens in these domestic violence cases 80% of the time when there's a complainant. Tell our viewers and Adolph and me what usually happens in most of these cases. So it's a big deal today, but how's it going to end up?
Well, a lot of them, they end up getting back together and the case is dismissed. But in some instances, that is not the case. But a lot of times, or the person says, well, they did do it, but I don't want them to get in any trouble. I don't want them to get in trouble. I don't want them to do any prison time or anything like that. So, that is what usually happens. They kiss and make up. So that's why I said to Adolph, he said, which one was it? She probably did break it off with him officially on Monday, if you want to believe that. But you could also believe that at the same time that he kept, hey, baby, you know I love you. Come on, now let's work this out. Can I come over tonight? She
the one dropped the dime. She dropped the dime to the university. She dropped the dime to the university.
What was the motivation for her dropping the dime?
Because they probably want to keep her job, and when she got a lawsuit.
They were snooping around because they suspected that they were having an affair. Am I correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So let me ask.
They suspected, so you lied and said no. You went along with him saying no. And then suddenly you had your conscience bothered you and said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell the truth. I know I'm making $90,000 a year, but I got to tell them the truth. Okay.
But who believes as an attorney, you're a defense attorney, how do you think the felony home invasion is going to stand anywhere?
Well, listen. The one thing that I don't like doing is speculating because I don't have the discovery. I don't know what they said happened. Okay. Was she in the house? Did he break did he break the door or did he just open the door? Did he have a key? Well, I don't know. So I have no idea. I don't even know how long were these people messing around? Do you know?
They say a year.
Okay. So there's probably love in the air. Now, didn't she say that she was? Is she expecting?
I've heard that.
Okay,
She
Stephanie, he
expecting
was in charge. He was
expecting
charged with a
what?
felony
a
home
baby.
invasion. That was the only felony, wasn't it? Home invasion.
Yes, and the other was no stalking.
I
No,
don't think it was
stalking.
felony
No, stalking
stalking.
is a misdemeanor. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I would tell you guys this, and I'm telling this to all those that are watching us on Detroit in Black and White. Like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends about Detroit in Black and White. And good evening to all of you that are watching us on Facebook. I know that, I use my phone a lot. I'm sitting there waiting for somebody to call my case or whatever. All down my social media timeline. That's all you saw all day today. And guess what? I'm sick of it. I even saw where people had Shannon Sharp, the other coach, this particular coach, and the
Mel
guy
Tucker.
who was engaged to Nia Long, and some other person had the five black guys. And the question is, what do all of these guys have in common? And guess what the response was? This is what I read. Okay, my receipts. They said all of them was messing around with snow bunnies. And most of the people that was responding, I guess, were probably black folks saying, well, that's what they get.
Well, we can find 5 other white guys,
And I'm
coaches.
not saying, no, I agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you what
Well,
I'm
you know what?
reading. It's the point that I'm making. I'm sick
But
of
in this day and age of TikTok and whatever, they gonna make up stuff. That's the way it is. Shit. Man, listen.
Now, Stephanie says this is the oldest trick in the book, and men continue to take the bait. So, are you saying that she was the bait, that she was tricking him, or do we believe that he saw somebody? She was nice looking, she working for him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get that." You know what I'm saying?
He was already walking on thin ice because a lot of alumni at Michigan was dissatisfied the way he was coaching this year,
Right.
and they was finding looking for any excuse to get rid of him. But pay him off. That's what they wanted to just say. Take the 14 million you owe them, pay him off, and go hire somebody else. But what they don't understand, and they understand in this today, is that all these young men that he recruited himself, they came to Michigan for him. Most of them came because they like him. They like what he said to them. They like how he interacted with them and their family.
Mhm.
They're gonna lose a lot of those folks. They already lost 2, and that's just the beginning.
Well, I don't watch it, so
But the bottom line is that secretly there's folks that's happy that this happened. Michigan got so much money. They saying they're gonna survive another scandal. They can survive it. This is not Wayne State or Oakland University or Michigan State. They got big pockets, and they're gonna keep pumping money into the football and basketball. Especially, you got the basketball team, the number 1 team in the country. The sport just overrides everything.
But Jim and Adolph, you talk about how this impact these players that came to the school to play for him. How much of an impact is this going to have on his family? He has a wife and children. How much of an impact does that have on his
Well, he's gonna have to pay for a divorce. He's gonna have to pay for a divorce. He's gonna have to whatever money he got. Yeah, I think she's gonna divorce him. She's gonna divorce him, and he's gonna get named in a lawsuit. I still think they're gonna have to pay him some of that money. I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
But I know he got some. I already saw one of his attorneys. They he got some slick ones. They ready to go to war, and they probably have read that contract, and there's something in that contract that makes sure that he gets something, even if he's fired for cause. So what is
It's tragic.
cause?
It's tragic. I'm not giving him an excuse. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve what happened. He did it all on his own, but it's still tragic. And as was pointed out by Stephanie Jackson, he has three daughters that are under the age of whatever, 6 or 7 or 8 years. The youngest one was born in 2019, 6 years old, 7 years old, and there's no escaping it. Just like Mary Sheffield, we talked about her. 20 years from now, those girls are going to be in college, and someone's going to walk up to him and say, "Oh, your dad was Sharon Moore. Look, I've got information on what he did 20 years ago." It's sad for the family. It's sad for the university, because you don't get over talk about the real life impact, but the university doesn't get over this in 2 years.
But do people say that about Lee Harvey Oswald kids? They in their 50s, whatever.
Well, it's different now than it was in the 60s. I mean, this stuff doesn't go away, but
none of this shit goes away.
That was my only point with social media and everything today. Those 5-year-old kids are going to have to live with this.
Well, Moore is a common name, so it don't matter. They can go back and take the name of their mother. Whatever that is. Look, listen,
fault of their own, I guess is what I'm getting at.
G Money made an interesting comment. Could you put that up on the screen so I can read it? He says, typically when a man break it off with a woman, she is hurt, and she will typically do anything to hurt him, and to hurt him where the pain will be an affliction that the man may not be able to recover from. Wow, that's deep. I wouldn't know, because I've never had anybody break up with me. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But that's quite interesting. That is quite interesting. Org says, "Hi all. What were your thoughts regarding Moore's arraignment and bond hearing?" Org, I didn't see it, so I don't have any thoughts. I can't weigh in on it.
I saw it. He was in a white jumpsuit. Listen, the prosecutor of Washington County, they was milking it for all they can milk it for.
And
everybody was milking.
Remember, Washington County is the county that no prostitution, no drug arrest. This guy is, pretty far left, and
he wasn't that far left. He put him in handcuffs and put him in a white jumpsuit and stuff.
What's his name? Zavit or Eli Zet? Something.
Whoever he is, But
it's for show. It's for show.
Yeah, it's all for show. They're not gonna have this kind of case in a long time, so they're gonna milk it to the.
Well, what was his bond? Does anybody know what his bond?
25,000. What's it? Some kind of secured bond, secured whatever.
Eli Savit is his name.
Okay. Yeah, $25,000 cash bond. That's a piece of cake. He put it on his American Express.
I'm sure.
He make $5.25 million a year.
Right. Adolph G Money says, to be accurate, Michigan is the number 2 team in the country at the moment. And that's on Associated Press, CBS, the coaches. Everybody else say they number 1. So clarify yourself, G Money. I know what I'm talking about. And after next week, they will be number 1, because I don't think at this point nobody has been able to keep up with them. So it don't matter. 1, 2 is all at the end of the year at the Final Four, which is in Detroit. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. The Final Four are in Detroit.
The Final Four is in Detroit.
I was not aware of that.
And you know what? I wasn't aware of it, because I looked it up. I said, I'm going to the Final Four. Last year went to the to the semifinals. And then when I looked it up, they said Little Caesar Arena, the Final Four. Yeah.
Usually that's a big deal because I went in like 2000 when they played at wherever they played at.
So Michigan and Michigan State, they got good teams. They both can be in the Final Four. That's a lot of folks coming down to Detroit, and they just announced that the Marriott over at the Ren Center is going to stay open for the Final Four. After that, they're going to close it down because they're going to tear down the two towers.
Yeah.
They should tear all that shit down.
Well, they're going to keep some. I think they're going to keep at least, what is it? It's
the one in the middle.
In the middle, right? The tall one. So, but which, by the way, I went to have you guys been to the Hudson building yet? I was there last night. Very nice.
Huh? That's the Hudson building has the San Morello and the chicken.
Well, San Morello is next door. The Hudson building is the tallest building. It says the tallest building in the state of Michigan. It's a beautiful building. I was there last night. It's really, really nice. So
what you there for?
I went to a holiday event.
And you didn't tell nobody.
I'm telling everybody now.
That's after the fact.
Exactly. I'm telling everybody now. Well, it was really nice. So, I mean, I think that you're talking about the knocking down the two towers over there at the Renaissance Center. From what I understand, they wanted to look more like the Navy Pier in Chicago. I think that's a pretty cool thing. So we'll see how that happens, what happens, and what it looks like.
I'm waiting on the friends of the Renaissance Center to come and block it. You know, because we always got friends of Bill Isle, friends of Tiger Stadium. They come, friends of the slums. People here don't want to get rid of nothing. They wanted to just be there. You know, if some of these people had their way, that Tiger Stadium still be standing, and they'll be playing every weekend. You get people coming down here because we want to play at Tiger Stadium. Ah, man, tear that shit down.
Listen, we have Edward. We talked a little bit about this. What's your opinion on the situation at the Leland House?
They need to close the Leland House down. Put them all out. Take the building from the owners because they've been playing a Ponzi game with the city, talking about, we're gonna put 40 million, 50 million into the Leland House. They not gonna put shit in there. All they doing is taking money from people that can barely survive. And you know, they got about 40 or 50 people in a big dilapidated building. It's a magnificent building if they fix it up.
Yeah.
But they not fixing it up. The owners, the original owner, he died.
Passed away. Yep,
yeah.
He passed away. Yeah.
And now these folks, they need to.
Even the original owner, he did nothing with it.
He did the same shit.
It's been raggedy for a very long time. This is what I think about it. I think it's a doggone shame because you have people who can't afford to live anywhere else, and that's where they're living. They like it. That's something that they're familiar with. You give them they get a notice and say, "Hey, you got to move out tomorrow." Some of them we're actually moving out. Some of them say, "Where are we going to go?" Then they get a notice. "Oh, no! You don't have to move. We're going to pay the bill. We have the, Can
you imagine living in that place?
Go back and say, "No, you got to get up." Listen, the building shouldn't have. As far as I'm concerned, I'm like you, Adolph, and I said this last week. I couldn't believe that the city allowed their building to continue to be open and allow people to live in there. It's terrible. It is.
Yeah, it is. It is. They closed the restaurant down. Lucy and Ethel. You know,
I was open in the first, second, or third place. I wouldn't eat there. I just didn't understand it. And I said last week, my uncle used to live there. I know what the situation was there, huh?
I ate there. Food was good.
No, all the grease and everything else.
It don't matter. I like to have some grease sometimes. I like it. It was good.
You got to work really hard to catch Adolph eating. If everybody that's watching, you really got to work hard to catch him eating. It ain't very often.
Well,
Wow. You have you have you have Adolph, that's already happened. The city's condemned the building until the repairs are made. Yeah, that's a little too late. That should have happened a long time ago. Miss Sheila says since the 80s, when Felipe Wynn lived there, it was going down. I didn't know he lived there. Wow,
well,
okay.
he was on crack. It used to be a Days Inn too. At one
Oh, he
time,
was on drugs. I didn't know Felipe Wynn.
yeah, I think he died.
Wow. Okay. I didn't
How
know
you
that.
think he
Okay.
died? The rubber band man. He could
Yes.
sing. Then he
Yes,
went
he
with the funk.
could.
Then he joined the Funkadelics. He left. He
That's
left
what
the center.
you know, I can't sing. But anyway, so now that the
But it
people,
used to be a Days Inn. At one time, it was a hell of a hotel
when was
named after
this?
Jim. Yes. What?
When was this? In the 70s?
No, the '60s and the '50s.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm telling you. Uh
But in the '80s, when I worked for the city, worked for the mayor, it was open. It was a Days Inn. It was operating. They had a club, they had a restaurant, but it still needed some repair,
mhm.
and they haven't done anything. That shit. I can imagine Ben and Willard living down there.
Oh,
You know the
absolutely.
rats.
Absolutely.
You know Ben, Michael Jackson,
Right.
little pets.
Right.
They controlling the place because that is a huge building.
It is.
I
Well,
can imagine going in there and getting on the elevator.
uh, I think I shared my experience of going in that building. Edward Edward Alt says, so now that the people are evicted, what does the city do with them? G Money
Well,
says,
they back in because DTE said that they came and paid them some money, 40 grand or
so the
whatever they
people back
owed.
in there?
Yeah, you should have.
No,
You should have
that's
seen.
crazy. That's insane.
You
Look,
should have
I don't
seen.
even want to go back. You playing yo-yo with me?
Wait a
Get
minute.
out. Come
You
back.
should have seen.
Get out.
No,
No, you can
they don't
stay.
have no
Get
place
out of
to
here.
go.
Bye.
Vanessa, they got no place to go. You should have seen one of the TV stations was talking to one of the residents, and he was like, "Oh, thank God, we can go back in." You know what? And you look at him and say, "Damn." You feel bad
Yeah.
for because they at the mercy of a slumlord, and we got quite a few slumlords in the city, and obviously the city. I don't know how they deal with them because you can keep fining these slumlords $100, $500, $1,000. They
$300.
don't pay
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I thought I was every time I go on Woodward and 7 Mile, I'm thinking I'm in Barcelona because I see that church. It's never going to be finished. That is unbelievable. There is nothing in the church. I don't know how
I was
they
just
need to
over
tear
there day
that.
before yesterday.
They need to tear it down. It
It's
need to
not
be
gonna happen.
well. What? Oh, listen. Your grandkids are how old?
4 and 3.
And they're gonna be 30 years old, and that church is still gonna be there. One of the whiners kids gonna say, "We got some money. We're gonna finally finish it." All it is just a frame on the outside. You have to look inside. It's nothing. It is nothing. That is. City was going to condemn it, take it, and then Duggan gave him a pass.
Well, of course, there was some other that. Well, yeah, he went and met with him, and they cut whatever deal. And They are working on it. I mean, I was just
They
by
ain't
there.
working on it. Ain't
They
nothing
are.
over there.
You can see
Ain't
some
nothing
progress.
over. They not working on that shit. And
You can
listen,
see some
those
progress.
jackleg preachers, ain't nobody. They can't even fill the first row up. Nobody, because he asking, he's shaming his people that go to his church. Woman gave him
I
$1,200.
knew you was gonna go. I knew you was
And
gonna
he
go there
dogged her out. I
because
asked
she
for
was a
2,000.
stool.
He's like a fucking pimp.
But she was.
He should have
Listen,
just smacked the shit out of her for being that stupid to come up there. I'd have snatched my money back. Say, okay, nigga, bye. You know? Yeah. Listen, he's a preacher pimp.
I'm not gonna say that. What I am gonna say
He
is
a preacher pimp. They be
I'm not
pimping.
gonna say
They
that.
build these big churches. They can't fill them up. And then they get jealous of one of the people that can fill them up, and that's the Reverend Kinlock. He can fill his churches up. They can't fill it up. That's why they didn't support him for mayor, because they couldn't take it. Yeah, it just I see that church is when they gonna get rid of it. It's like it was like the train station that we had to see that train station forever. Somebody got to take it off their hands. They need to make that church a apartment building, a
So
homeless shelter. Let
so
people stay in there.
Adolph, I do have objections to you making it appear as if um the members, like you're talking about the lady who stood in line to give
If
her,
that was my
as
mother,
if she was taken
I would cuss
advantage
her
of.
out for even
She
getting up
she
there,
was a willing
giving them that
participant in
money.
that. She was a
What?
willing participant. She went on the news and said, "No, he didn't embarrass me." Yada yada
Yes,
yada.
she was.
And
She
then
wouldn't have went on the news.
a few days later, she was like, "Well, they really treated me bad." Well, lady, you was a willing participant in this, and
Right.
guess what? You get no sympathy from me
Well,
at all. I
she
thought it
get
was
my
so
sympathy. Yes,
ridiculous.
she do. Because she's a misguided soul in a cult. They in a fucking cult. You know, some of this shit, he's sitting up there. He like Jesus or the second coming.
I'm sorry, but
Can I get you?
That's why people ain't into these young folks ain't into religion. Like when I was growing up, a lot of these ministers had a message, and then the black church was the backbone of the community. Nowadays, it ain't the backbone of our community because we you can go and you can see all abandoned buildings, churches. You can see the ones that's left. They got 100 members or 200 members, and they build these big buildings, and you can't fill them up anymore.
yeah,
People moving out of the city. People, the old church folks are dying. The young people are not
listen,
joining. They're not joining. They're not
but
joining.
a lot. I'm not saying that they're not joining, but a lot of times people watch services on television. I mean, they watch them on YouTube. I mean, there's like you could go to like Sunday morning. I'll tell people in a minute. Yeah, I did bedside tabernacle this morning. That means that I've gone to
What
Sunday
they like? I used to watch
okay.
Oral Roberts. Put your hand on the TV. Please come on. I'ma die if Jimmy Swagger. If I don't get $1 million by the end of the month, Jesus gonna take my life. And you got people rushing to give him fucking money. It's unbelievable. You go into Tammy Baker, Jim Baker house, they got gold toilets. That's your money. You gave these people all this damn money. They driving Maseratis, Bentleys, all kind of shit. We got preachers in Detroit that's driving Bentleys and shit. And
That's
then
true.
and then come telling, I need you with a tithe, brother, sister. You ain't gave your quota. I smack the shit out of him. Here's my quota. Boom. Shit. Listen, man. I know one day I'll find out if this shit is real. If it ain't real, I'm gonna come back and haunt y'all ass. But that's what we're dealing with.
Lord Jesus have mercy. Oh my God, that is hilarious. But
well, you know I'm right. That church need to be back to the original question. Tear down the church.
It's not going to happen. And
obviously, it's
Jim,
been
have you
20
gone by
years.
there?
I
Have you
was a
gone
young
by?
man. I had hair when they started building it. Now I don't have any hair. I'll leave that. 20 years from now, you're gonna be still defending them.
Oh Lord, and Stephanie,
Yeah.
she here with you. She says she was told by a member the members had to provide their W-2 4 times. That's ridiculous. If that is true,
That is unbelievable.
But you don't. But listen, you don't have to be a member. You don't have to do that. I'm saying that these people are willing participants. That's a problem.
You don't have to be a star to be in my show. Obviously, they don't, because these preachers take advantage of some of these folks and stuff.
So
Yeah.
Dominique remembers Willard and Ben, and she doesn't care for him, I guess. Edward Alt, 5085. Adolph, for me, it was being recruited the Marines. When I was being recruited the Marines, I stayed there before going to boot camp. That was the Leland. That was a couple years ago, Edward, 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Well, you know where the Harbor House
yes.
restaurant?
Yes.
That used to be where I was inducted into the Marine Corps. I was an AFE station, a recruit center.
Thank you, Edward, and thank you, Adolph, for your contribution.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, you were with Vance, right? Were you in Vance? Weren't you assigned to the vice presidents?
With Vance, he didn't do anything either. So, you know, all these people serving the reserves and whatever, and they make like they did something. The real people that went and fought and stuff, you don't hear them bragging about nothing. They don't say nothing because there's nothing to brag about. The only ones that brag is the ones that sat on their ass here in the U.S. and didn't do nothing, and that's Vance and well, can't say the Trumps because none of them ever gone to the military. So,
can the tenants get landlord-free representation from the city that Mayor Sheffield boasted that she initiated? Do you guys have any information or comment on that, Mr. 1213, for the Leland?
I don't know.
What did he say?
I hope her administration does something with the Leland and with the church over 7 Mile. And as we come to a close, I tried to tell somebody that was running for city council over their district, cover that area over there. That should be what they were running on. Tear the church down. You know, I said, because you can get a lot of traction. Oh, I don't want to do that, you know, and they didn't win either. So, yeah.
Thank you,
the bottom line is, yeah, go ahead.
Before we go, I just want to acknowledge the comment that G Money Hollywood made. He says he wants us to keep in mind that we have an audience out there, and you are part of the audience, G Money. He says he just wants us to be mindful that we have guests out there, and they want to get their comments in too. Listen,
okay, well, we got a code of what they can scan, and they can come on and talk and do whatever they want to do.
Yep.
And thank you, Power Org. You're right about Sharon Moore. I think that he's more of a danger to himself than he is anybody else. Do you want to read some of the comments, Vanessa? We have a couple minutes.
Yeah. They said, Jim, you was completely quiet for over 10 minutes. That was very sad. Sometimes, listen, we know Jim. Sometimes Jim likes to sit back and enjoy the fireworks. So Listen, if he wants to get in there and rumble, trust us, Jim will do that.
Thank you,
But
Gina.
thanks for the concern. Edward says, Jim, that was in the mid 80s. Miss Sheila said they say they got to pay him to sing in the church. He's under contract. He's under contract. I think she's talking about Pastor Winans, that they have to pay him to come and sing. Well, I don't think that's unusual for a lot of gospel artists.
True Sensation, our old friend, our good friend. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of the show tonight, True Sensation.
Yeah, and I don't think I have anything else. Tamika Rainey said, "We love you guys. We love you back."
Thank you, Tamika. We appreciate you being part of this show. It certainly helps us.
Yeah.
Well, I
She's
thank
playing
you.
whining songs. She's rolling into royalties for the Winans.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? I went and bought a Monopoly game. I'm going to take that money from the Monopoly game and pay off the Winans debt. I'm going to come up there and give him, I'm going to give him, what was the yellow money? Was that 100,000 or whatever, you know? Yeah. That's basically when you give your money, you might well just go to the casino and give it to them, then give it to the churches like that.
Thank you, DeBreg 921 and Miss Sheila for your comments. This show doesn't exist without the people that participate in it. And, we need you guys.
We'll be back tomorrow, Saturday. Until then, have a good evening.